Just wanted to come on and give you some quick strategy overview here in regards to onboarding. You know, in the last couple of weeks, I've been speaking to an increasing number of people who are growing their agencies, their consulting firms, all types of businesses, which is great. And I'm really excited about that growth. And so, clients come to me for that reason. So when I see that they're actually growing, obviously, it validates for me that they're getting good value for the dollar. However, oftentimes they end up dropping the ball shortly thereafter because growth is great, but the second part of that is keeping up with that growth. And that's really important that you're able to do that. And as your business grows, you need to bring in some more resources. It can be technology resources. It doesn't necessarily need to be human resources. It could be, software, automation, algorithms, artificial intelligence. But there are those occasions where you're going to need to bring in people. Attracting the right people is really important. And some businesses are really good at this. They've got really fluffy ad copy, help wanted, and we offer this and we offer that, and it sounds really great, but of course the applicant doesn't really know what they're getting into until they get into it. Some companies are great at dressing up the job fair with the right table and the printed T-shirts and the literature and all that. But again, the applicant doesn't know until they know. So as much information as you can give the applicant beforehand is certainly going to help you with those mishires. And mishires can be really expensive because you bring somebody in after you've paid good money to run ads or set up at job fairs or whatever your recruiting process is. And if you bring somebody in and then you lose them, then where does that leave you? It leaves you, having to do all that again. Not to mention the fact that you've paid good money to train them and all the time that it took to get them trained, and whether or not you had to, take that time yourself or pay somebody else to do it, it can get very costly. So it's important that you nail down your hires from the very beginning and avoid mishires. And one of the ways that you could do that is by making sure that you're accurately representing your business and your brand, what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you do and what the culture is after an applicant comes in. What can they expect to take place? And the more upfront, the more transparent you are, I think, the more helpful it is to the applicant. Now, you have to consider that as the person doing the hiring, just because you're the one paying the money out doesn't mean that you should be the one calling all the shots. I mean, you should make your applicants feel valued. Like if you're recognizing the idea, the fact that they're a talented person that can contribute to the assets of the company as a whole, then make them believe that. Make them feel valued. You should be courting the applicant as much as the applicant might be trying to impress you. So don't lose sight of that. You're not better than the applicant because you're only as good as the people who are working with you. So if you find good, talented people and you can attract that talent, that's fantastic. But can you bring them in? Can you acquire them and retain them? So retention is a whole other matter in and of itself. And one of the ways that you can do that is creating a good work environment, okay? Forget about the team building for a minute, okay? What's the first thing that happens after somebody gets hired? They get that welcome letter, they get trained. What does that training consist of? Does the person training know what they're doing? Can they explain it in a comprehensive, succinct, yet manageable manner? The onboarding process is so important. It's one of those things that I've noticed that a lot of young companies that I work with are really missing out on. They're attracting high quality talent, but then they miss it. They keep whiffing all the way through that onboarding process, getting acclimated to what their job is. So you need to be very clear and concise about what your expectations are, what their job role and title and responsibility is, who their go-to person is, who they go to for help, and who they need to answer to, who are they accountable to on a daily basis. And oftentimes this is so missed, it's so overlooked, and it seems elementary, but when you're in it, it's tough to know. But you quickly realize, don't you, how unprepared you were to bring somebody in. You're thinking, I need help with this, and this, and you think that person's gonna come in and make your life easier, but not before they make your life more difficult, because you have to put the effort into the training process. Okay, so number one, don't expect that people should be coming in to solve the problems that you're currently having in your business. Okay, your housekeeping and dirty laundry is your responsibility. You need to make sure that your house is clean and in order before you bring other people in. Okay, unless if you're bringing in somebody like me. All right, so I don't care how messy your house is. I'll help you get it cleaned up as a consultant, as an advisor, but don't think you're going to bring somebody in, as a VA. To come figure out how you can, generate more leads and close more deals and improve your efficiency processes. That's not what they do, and I often see that mistake where somebody is, trying to hire a Facebook ads manager, and the ads manager comes in and says, sure, yeah, I can manage your ads. And they go, okay, great, figure out how to sell this. That's not what ads managers do. They manage ads. You might need an ad strategist. And you might need to pay more money for that, okay? And I can help you with that as well. But it's important to know what those roles are. Make sure that they're really well defined and that the expectation is very well known by your new applicant, by your new recruit. They know exactly what their job role is, the responsibility, what's expected of them. And of course, you want to follow up and inspect what you expect, right? You want to pay attention to what they're doing and make sure that it's getting done. But there's a very fine line between follow-up and micromanagement, okay? So if you want to scare somebody away really fast, micromanage them, because I think it's one of the biggest things that a new recruit hates more than anything else, okay? But at the same time, your business is your responsibility. You need to know what's going on every step of the way. So you can't just, blindly leave town right after you recruit somebody. That's not going to be the best option either. But you need to hold their hand, walk them through the process. Make sure that they have a list of references, right? The software that they're going to be used, the email addresses, all the credentials and the logins and everything they need. You need to supply them with the tools and the resources, the handbook, the manual, everything that they need in order to get their job done. You can't expect that a job's going to get done if you don't give them the resources. Painting doesn't get painted without paint and brushes, right? And a canvas. And so make sure all those tools are provided for your new recruits so that their daily routine is not a struggle. There's no guesswork involved. They're not trying to figure out what am I supposed to be doing and who am I supposed to be answering to and am I supposed to do this or that, right? Take the guesswork out, be clear, be concise, be comprehensive, but don't be overly wordy either. This is not a human resources issue. Okay, I'm not a human resources expert. This is not a recruiting issue. I'm not a recruiter. This is an operations and efficiency issue. This is business management issue. This is a scalability issue. So if your business is in a growth stage right now, congratulations. You're not going to be able to handle it on your own. You're going to need to bring in either people or technology. You need to decide which is the most appropriate for your business. And if you've decided that it's people that's going to provide the asset and the attributes that you need in order to be able to grow, well, make sure you're holding up your end of the bargain. Don't expect them to do all the work, because in order for them to work efficiently, you have to put in a little overtime to make sure that those systems are put in place. Don't bring them in as the lab rat, okay? Don't test things on them. Well, you're the first person we hired, so we really haven't done this before. We really don't know what we're doing. Well, you need to really give it some thought and figure out what you're doing before you go bringing somebody else in to have to deal with your mess. Because we all got our own messes to deal with. That's not fair to bring somebody else into that. Because what if the roles reverse? You don't like it when an employee, a new recruit comes in, bringing extra baggage with them. It interferes with your workflow, doesn't it? But the fact of the matter is they've got stuff going on. They've got life. How you are able to delegate tasks according to what's going on in people's personal lives really has a great deal to do with whether or not you can retain your client. How do you treat your people? Are you providing them with the necessary tools, materials, and training so that they can do a great job, right? And are you treating them like individuals without micromanaging them? Okay, here's a couple of things for you to consider, and I strongly urge you to consider them if you're so fortunate enough to have enough business to think about bringing in additional people. Congratulations, you're in a growth stage. That's a good place to be, but now you've got a lot more to learn, right? And you've got a lot more growing to do, but eventually you'll get it. And if you need some help along the way, send me a message, give me a call, and I'll give you a hand. Wishing you the best and success. Take care and be well.